Hey y'all, welcome. I am Karen Day from Over It a Little Kinder, and today I'm continuing on with the A Flower for Every Season Suite. I wish I could open this up and show you the yumminess in the catalog, but I can't yet, not until June, which is just a little bit away. Happy Memorial Day. Here's our video. Let me show you something really fun that's going with the A Flower for Every Season Suite. All right, so let's get that out of the way. Welcome to the Stamping Corner. This is where I am, the corner of my bedroom. And today I'm going to be talking about this brand new jar. Oops, let me see if I can find the title. Jar of Flowers set. So this was really neat. So I've seen a lot of people post sneak peeks of this set, and we get a question immediately. Does that fit the old jar set? Well, y'all, this was one of my favorite sets of all time. This is the retired Jar of Love. This cannot be purchased anymore. It is gone, bye-bye. But I wanted to do a comparison with the jars because they are very different. I mean, even just looking at the images, you can see they are different. So part of what I want to do today, we're not going to make a card. We're going to go through some product, and then we're going to compare these jars because they are different. If you have this set, I think that it works very well with this set. So I like the two together. The Jar of Flowers does not have any message or greeting stamps in it. The old Jar of Love does. And so I'm going to be excited over on the blog to do some something old, something new post where I mix the two together so that if you have this set, you get an idea. I do apologize to those of you who are new to Stampin' Up and new to me and you can't get this set. I know that kind of makes you sad, but for those of us who have it, I did want to take a chance, take a second, and really show the two together. So in our suite that we're talking about today, in the A Flower for Every Season suite, we're going to be looking at Jar of Flowers. So Jar of Flowers comes as a photopolymer stamp set. That means it's one of the clear sets, which is great for lining up. Stampin' Up has started doing this, and I love it. So it lets me know what I'm missing. So if I wanted to, I could remove the stamps from these pieces, and I could put them onto the actual case, stick them directly to the case, and that allows me to see if I'm missing anything. These stamps are also unique in that they are double-sided. So this stamp has enough surface on this side, on the raised side. Let me see if I can get close enough where you can see that this is the raised side. So this is the raised bumpy side. There's enough surface here that it'll stick to a block, and then you have a solid image. So this is going to be really neat if you want to fill the jar, and so you're doing one of our blending techniques with your ink on the stamp. You've got a completely smooth surface. All right, some of the larger stamps. So there's what that's for. So I could stick that in and stick it there, or I can leave it on the paper. And then on the other side, we have all the jar toppers and the stems and the lid. All righty, so there's that piece. And then we have the punch. And I wanted to show you the punch. This is a really good size punch. So there's my hand and there's a punch. But this punch is just over 2 inches, not quite 2.5. So there's my 2-inch mark. And so it's just over maybe 2 1/8. But this is a good size punch. I was a little bit nervous when I saw it in the catalog. I'll just be honest. I was a lot nervous when I saw it in the catalog and in the pre-order that it was going to be small. And I didn't want something small. I wanted something that met Jar of Love. I mean, like this had to be something that impressed me enough that I was going to purchase it. Because remember, I kept Jar of Love. And I use it in my personal card making, but not my business card making. So I was really excited to see this one when I started seeing samples of it. So this was in my second pre-order. I didn't get it in the first pre-order. My husband cringed. He heard me editing my last video, and he heard that I've done 2 pre-orders, and he cringed. And he was like, but those weren't even the things that you loved. No, they weren't until I saw other people playing with them, and now I love them. So now they're mine. he was like, all right, gotta have it all. I was like, yep, that's me. I gotta have it all. So this is what's really fun with this. There is a designer series paper. I talked about it in the last video, and so I wasn't going to bring it into this video. When I start making cards with this set, I will bring that back in so that we can look at it. But for this video, really I wanted to focus on the stamps and the images. So I thought this was kind of neat. They're two different jars, and they both punch out with this punch. And let me show you. Let me grab him off the back. So if I take and lay him on top of a piece of cardstock. This happens to be the new Magenta Madness. It's what was laying on my desk. You can see this fits perfectly. Now, here's what I think is kind of fun. The other jar that you're like, okay, what do I do with that? At least that was my first thought. Take that backing off. Also fits. So look, you can take it and stamp it, and you get half a jar. So I thought that was kind of unique. So now I'm not just having jars. I also could make this into a clay pot by stamping it maybe on cinnamon cider or soft suede, or Cajun craze if I wanted it to be a dark terracotta pot, or even terracotta tiles. So I've got some options there where I could make this different. I also have the ability to stamp the back, which turns it into that two double-sided stamping. All right, so the other thing that's neat are the images. So here are the flowers, and there really are flowers that you could use for every season. So if you colored these, I think these kind of lend the best to maybe a Christmas, even though there's not really a poinsettia. You've got a little bit more of the I'm not a florist. I don't quite know what all these things are called, but you have that little berry looking piece. You have what could look like a poinsettia if you colored it red. Then you have the sunflowers, which to me scream fall, and you have the tulips, and then the roses. So I really feel like this set and the floral pieces are going to be great for year round, and they are huge. You see how big those are? This is what finally got me. When I saw people stamping this set and I saw how big they were, I was like, whoa, those are huge. So it's kind of neat if you took, and we'll stamp some of them and I'll show you, but really, let's go ahead and jump in. Let me find a block that's going to be big enough for this. I'm going to grab him. I'm going to grab some of my Memento ink. I think that's what will show up. Move some things out of the way here. Stamping in the stamping corner means stamping in very limited space. So here we are. All right, so here is the brand new jar of flowers jar. Ooh, and this is my first time to stamp that up. So usually when you get a brand new stamp set, sometimes it has processing gunk on it. I don't even know what it's called, but it's from the processing of the clear polymer stamps, and so it doesn't take ink very well. Now, this is a photopolymer stamp, which means it does not have the foam that you would need to get a clear image. So this is what I have done with my Stampin' Pierce mat. I just took a piece of grid paper and wrapped it around, and it's been there for a while, but it protects my Stampin' Pierce mat, which is on the inside. So, you know, if I wanted to, I could take this and I could pull it off. I just used tear and tape, but you know, it is what it is. Doesn't bother me being dirty. Alrighty, make sure this is good and juicy, and then I'm going to stamp right here. And there's my jar. Clean him off. I'm going to grab this little jar, which I'm kind of super excited about now that I've seen it in use. I mean, at first I was kind of like, wait, that's the water that goes inside? It just did not make sense in my head. That one looks like it took the ink, okay. I'm going to place it up here. So there is my jar, and there is the little jar. Alrighty, now, I know this is what you're waiting for. You're waiting for me to compare this to the old jar of love. So let me pull them out, and let's just stamp some. Now, this is what I was talking about. So this stamp, the old jar of love, has that big old hole in it. See, my fingers go all the way through. So you couldn't turn it over and do like ink on the back and it fill up the image. It just didn't work that way. Alrighty. So here is Jar of Love. And okay, without getting my head in the camera, there we go. All right. So that was the biggest jar from Jar of Love, and you can see it is bigger than our current jar of flowers. And I'm okay with that because this one is actually a really good size for cards. Now, what I loved about this old Jar of Love, and part of the reason that I kept it, was if I wanted to do 3D objects. This one really, really was a nice size to work with. All right, let's go down one size because the Jar of Love set came with 3. Now, I think it's pretty obvious that that little bitty short squatty jar does not match. All right, slide you on here. This is probably the one that I thought was going to be closest to our new, ooh, that didn't ink, was going to be closest to our new image. So here he is. Ah, sorry about that. That's real life, folks. All right, so here is the current set. Here is the old one. So the medium-sized jar is probably about the same height as the new jar. If you've got this set and you're trying to figure out, do you want the new one? The medium jar is probably very, very close to the exact same height. However, it is way wider. So you can see he's about the same height, but he is, well, we don't mean to shame him, but he's just fatter. He's a little fluffier. So that's kind of to give you a comparison. Now, we're going to turn this over because that bubble's making me crazy. And I'm going to put go ahead and put Jar of Love up because that's what I wanted to show you in case you were trying to decide, I've got Jar of Love, do I really need? Well, I kind of feel like you do. I kind of feel like that this set, especially having the punch, is going to take you in a very different direction. And here's what I mean. So I've turned this over, and what I want to do is show you these images. And I may have to use the Stamposaurus. All right. I've got a bigger block. I'll go ahead and use it. So let's start with this sunflower. I'm kind of in a sunflowery mood. It's a little overcast here today. So kind of a little darker in my stamping corner than I wanted it to be. So sometimes showing you the real life product isn't working very well. All right, so here is the sunflower image all inked up. And I'm actually going to put it up on the paper. And then this is kind of what I wanted to show you. So we know what the jar will do. We've used the Jar of Love. We know that we can put flowers in there. This is what excited me. Here's that other little jar, that short little squatty jar. Now, the great thing about photopolymer stamps is that you can see through them. And I can already see that I'm going to want to clean off the back edge of this stamp because it's going to show through my flowers. And the back of the bowl would not show. So I'm using my simple chamois just to take, ooh, hello, to take the edge off of this line, okay? Alrighty, and now, without getting my head in the middle, and holding my tongue just right. Now I have sunflowers in a pot. Isn't that cool? This is what got me. This is what sold me on this set. It wasn't the jar, because remember, I have Jar of Love that I absolutely love. But this idea, the idea that this can become something other than a clear glass piece, blew me away. I fell in love with it. It was truly the thing that sold me on this set. So this is why I say that you need this. Let's take a look real quick at this shaker product. So this is kind of neat. I've never done shakers this way, so this is new to me. I always did the old method where you had the flat front instead of a raised dome. During the Christmas or holiday occasions catalog, I really did not get into the whole shaker box thing. I didn't. I mean, no offense to those who did, I just didn't. We have a snow globe, and it's carrying over, I think, but I just didn't. So the way that this works is you would punch the jar. You would remove the adhesive on this side. You would place your jar punch over, and this would probably be where your flowers were, and then you fill the back side. And I'm just not sure how I feel about that. This is pretty darn thick. Let's see if I can show you how thick this is. So there's my finger. I mean, this is pretty darn thick. I'm not sure how well that would mail. And I do know that with my old shaker cards, the old way, they weren't this thick. So being completely honest, this gives me pause. I think it's neat. I think it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to playing with it, but I'm just not sure. And so one of the things that came along with this suite that I am super excited about are these little gems. They call them a flower for every season gem. And I think the true intent was that they would be a filler material, but I am much more excited about them being gems to put on cards. So you can see here, this little guy is iridescent. That's because that's the front side. He's faceted. And then this one right here is not iridescent. That's where you would glue. All right, and then do you see these little clear guys right next to them? These little guys are actually rounded. They're not faceted. They're domes. And I'm actually the most excited about those. Now, I love these little just jade gems. I think they're beautiful, and I cannot wait to use them. But the clear ones, oh man, the clear ones stole my heart. So, I don't have a card for us to do today. I just kind of wanted us to look and play. I'm going to bring back in this piece that shows the sizes. Again, this is a size comparison for our current jar of flowers and then the old jars from Jar of Love. So again, Jar of Love is retired. You cannot get it, but just a size comparison. Our new jar is about the same height as the medium-sized jar in Jar of Love, but he has definitely gone on a diet and he is much skinnier than the original. So I think that these two sets, if you own Jar of Love, you're going to love working with these two sets together, because I really feel like that they're pretty interchangeable. You could use the flowers on top of here. You could use the sayings with the new jar of flowers. So if you like this video, the comparison, if you would hit the thumbs up or the like down the bottom. If you want to see more from me, hit subscribe. This is my brand new YouTube channel, and I am growing it slowly. So I'm excited that you found me and that you're here. You can also find me over at the blog. All the details will be linked below. And we're on Facebook and Insta. So we're kind of a little bit of everywhere, and all of that will be linked below. I hope that you have a wonderful day and you stay safe. Until next time.